Well, there is a new documentary about to be released, 3 years in the making. Attempts to piece together the facts about our president and his ideology. It is based on interviews and family records found far and wide, from Hawaii to Indonesia to the slums of Nairobi, Kenya.
Obama has a dream from his father, that the sins of colonialism be set right and America be downsized.
Americans did not know him, and he knew that too. And he knew people were projecting all of these things onto him.
It's been a long time coming, but tonight, because of what we did on this day, in this election, at this defining moment, change has come to America.
America has a dream from our founding fathers, that together we must perfect liberty, and America must grow, so liberty grows. Which dream will we carry into 2016?
Joining us now, Dinesh D'Souza, the New York Times bestselling author and co-writer and co-director of this new film, 2016, Obama's America. Dinesh, welcome to the program. What was the purpose in pursuing this documentary? Because I know you wrote a book, and they say that this is, I guess, based in part on the book that you wrote in 2010 called The Roots of Obama's Rage.
It is, but I also have a new book coming out next month called Obama's America. So it's actually based on both books. The reason for the film is that Obama is the most unknown guy ever to walk into the White House. Previous presidents have all been known figures, but Obama kind of came out of nowhere. And 4 years later, we still don't know a whole lot about him. So what this film does is it tries to raise the curtain on who Obama is. So whether people like him or they don't like him, they'll get to understand him a lot better.
So you went all the way out to Kenya. You interviewed Barack Obama's half-brother. What did you find?
Well, that's an interesting chapter in the film. George Obama is the president's half-brother. I was sort of intrigued by George because I discovered that he was living in a 6 by 10 foot hut in the Huruma slum of Kenya. Now, what's odd about this is that Barack Obama, President Obama, has been going around the country saying, you know, we are our brother's keeper. It's one of his stock phrases. We owe obligations, in other words, to each other. But here he has his own brother, his real brother, and the guy's living on a couple of dollars a day. And President Obama, who's a multimillionaire, obviously the most influential man in the world, has done nothing to help him. So I thought it'd be interesting to sit down with George and ask him, hey, if you are the president's brother, how come he's done nothing for you?
He seems, you know, I've just seen the clip that's been posted online. He seems pretty nonplussed by the whole situation. He says, look, he's a busy guy. I'm an adult, and I don't need really him to take care of me.
He says that, and so he's reflecting kind of an ideology of self-sufficiency, which actually I admire. You know, the kind of funny thing is, as I listen to George, George has tried to make his own life. He's overcome a lot of hardship. And he doesn't have the anti-colonial animus or bitterness of their father, Barack Obama Sr. In an interesting part in the interview, I talked to him about whether the problems of Kenya and of the Third World are due to the West. In other words, are the British, is America responsible for why these countries are poor? And he says no. He says when Kenya got independence, Kenya was as successful, as poor as South Korea. But look at the way that South Korea has advanced enormously, and Kenya is still an economic basket case. And he goes, that's not the West's fault. He goes, that's our fault.
You are a controversial figure because you don't seem to be a fan of the president, and you've made some controversial remarks about him. Your book, your basic theory seems to be that his father is the same as he is, this controversial father about whom Barack Obama wrote in his memoir, Dreams from My Father, that he is somehow realizing his dreams through his son. In a 2010 op-ed you wrote, this is about the father, This philandering, inebriated African socialist who raged against the world for denying him the realization of his anti-colonial ambitions is now setting the nation's agenda through the reincarnation of his dreams in his son. That seems a stretch for a lot of folks, even folks who aren't that big a fan of the president.
Well, I think it seems a stretch, Megyn, simply because Obama has been such an uncovered president. In other words, hardly anybody has spoken to the people who knew his dad, who knew Obama, who knew his mom. So that's where the documentary fills the picture in. In Kenya, we don't just talk to George Obama, but, you know, I'm sitting with Obama's grandmother, Granny Sarah, at the family homestead. I talked to people who knew Barack Obama Sr., who met Obama Jr., who are in an actual position to compare the two. And so I'm able to take a theory that I advanced a couple of years ago and actually test it with people who really know what they're talking about.
When you talk about, you believe that the father was anti-colonialism, that seems to be true, but you believe that that label also applies to Barack Obama. Just explain what that is, anti-colonialism, and why you believe that our sitting president follows that theory.
Well, the ideas of anti-colonialism, first of all, are thoroughly stated in Obama's own book, Dreams for My Father. If you look at that book, you'll see that the word civil rights appears only a few times in the book, but the word colonialism appears on almost every second page. So this is not a theme I'm inventing. This is what Obama himself talks about. Now, the second thing is that the main idea of anti-colonialism is twofold.
Quickly.
One is that the West, and specifically America, is the rogue nation in the world. That American influence in the world has generally been bad. We've got to pull it back, reduce American influence abroad. The second idea is that capitalism is a form of theft. That the rich countries got rich by looting the poor countries, and you need the state, the power of the state, to bring down the big bad corporations. So these are ideas that Obama has been following.
I've got to go because we're up against a hard break, but, you know, obviously there's a lot of pushback on this, on whether this is, in fact, you can tar the son with the father's beliefs. But, Dinesh, as always, it's interesting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.